Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mauve Coaching Podcast. This is episode 3 and we have the lovely Aislings Carson here. Carson? Aislings Carson.
Hi, my name is Aislings Carson.
So Aislings, as I will say for her, she is also a coach, and today we'll be kind of talking through things that we talk about in this pod anyway. So like I've said before, this pod is for all things health and fitness, emotional, mental well-being, career, life chats, traveling, absolutely everything in between. So it's very fitting to have Aislings on because we've actually been on really similar journeys.
Yeah.
And it's mad. Like, we've been friends, how long have we been
2 months.
friends? It's only been 2 months.
I think so.
God.
Maybe three.
Time, it just shows badly time is completely different. Like, same with Kate. Kate and I literally I was on her podcast after 3 days of knowing her.
That's mad.
She asked me after 1 day. But yeah, things just go a little bit faster. But I've known Aislings for, as I said, 2 months apparently.
3
months.
3, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, October.
But we mostly got close probably the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And it was only like a month ago, like around Christmas time, I found out we had so much similarity in our like life paths and like particularly our career path. So without further ado, how did you become an online coach? Because it's very similar to me. Talk me through it.
I was always like involved in like sport and like fitness and stuff. Like my family are very sporty. I played Gaelic football like my whole life. I Irish danced, I played camogie. And then my mummy always used to go to the gym. So then when I was like 16, 17, I started joining her. And then that's how I basically got into the gym. But it was just like classes and spin, which is like awful to me now.
I've never done a spin class in my entire life.
Yeah.
Is that bad to say? I don't know.
You're lucky. Like, it's awful. Then I just started going to the gym on my own when I was like old enough. Like after I had surgery, I started just like going to the gym, getting fit again, and like lifting like random weights and stuff. And like I didn't notice any differences. Like I felt good doing it and I felt unreal, but there was no change in my body. And then it like came to a point where like I was like, okay, I actually want to be like strong and not strong and muscly, but just like lean and like look pretty. So then I just like went into like just like researched like it more and like tried to have some sort of structure to my own program and like nutrition, and I like nailed my nutrition first, and then I was just like a learning process for the gym and stuff. And then I just kept having chats. Like it was something that like I always wanted to do. Like even when I like knew fuck all, like I was always trying to help other people and like try and be like a good person in the gym and like do the right things and like make sure I was doing things correctly or like whatever it was. And then I was just like I like always looked up to like online coaches and like even like fitness influencers. I was like, that's what I want to do, like that's who I want to be. But I was just kind of just like, oh well, it is what it is. And then I think I'd like mentioned it once to my friend, and then it was like 6 months later I like mentioned it again, and I was just like, why have I not done it yet? And then it was like COVID by this stage, and I was just like, I have the time to sit and get this qualification. So I just like wrote it in my journal one time, like my goal was to become a personal trainer, and then like within like 3 days I'd booked the course and had started it. And
very fitting considering the last episode was on goal setting.
Yeah.
But completely glossed over the most pivotal part of that, I think. So you started off in corporate though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so originally like I had no, like I never thought of like fitness as a job. Like I always knew there was like PTs out there obviously, and I think I had like mentioned it to people and they were just like, oh, the work hours are terrible, like basically people work 9 to 5, so if you want to coach you're doing it early mornings or the evenings, like you don't get paid a lot. Like I don't know, I think I love life luxuries and I always just needed a high paying job to be able to afford the things that I want.
It's okay to be ambitious when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Like, so like people like knock that as a goal, but like it's okay to want to be financially stable.
Yeah.
FYI.
Like when I was in school I had an absolute notion what I wanted to do, like at all. Like I had no clue. Like I'd thought about midwifery, I'd thought about nursing, and like I think the main thing was like I wanted to help people, and I just didn't know how. I always just thought like, oh, nurses help people, I should be a nurse. And like even like my A-levels, like I did health and social care and stuff, and then I did work experience in a hospital with nurses, and I was just like, oh my god, that is the worst experience I have ever been through in my life. And then obviously when I was in hospital myself, it was just like confirmation that like, thank God I didn't do it. Like shout out to all the nurses out there, like
it's such a hard job
in the world. But I think what I took away from it was just like I wanted to help people, but just like that just wasn't what I was interested in.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I left school I worked for Deloitte, so it was pretty much in the corporate world from I was 18.
Sorry, how long? So for what? You're 26 now.
Yeah.
So you were in that for like 4 years? Longer or
Like
less?
6. I've worked in corporate for 6 years.
Wait, did you studied? No.
Alongside working in corporate, I studied.
Amazing.
So like it was
Sorry,
like an
I'm
apprenticeship.
still learning stuff about her on this pod. This is so funny.
It was like an apprenticeship thing. So
Ah, yes.
I didn't think I'd get into the course I wanted to do, which was communication, advertising, and marketing, which I think I would have absolutely loved. And like I feel like my life probably would have ended up like this anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know.
a lot of your job kind of requires those skill sets anyway.
Yeah.
You are really good at that as well.
But I didn't think I'd get in, so then Deloitte came to my school and I was just like, oh, I'll apply for that. I ended up getting into both, but I just chose Deloitte. Like, I don't know why. Like,
I chose it. You worked that long there.
Yeah.
I thought it was like kind of like me, like a hot minute. Like I lasted 4 months.
No, like I was with Deloitte for like 4.5 years, and then I moved to another firm, and I was there for 8 months.
Sorry, the balls that takes as well to move from like what you said 5-6 years. Did you say?
Altogether, it's around like 5-6 years that I
Like
worked in corporate.
that's more than most people. Like even in their mid-20s, then when they're changing their career. Like I think it's really scary. Even scarier for you to have to change your career then, because I wasn't like established in the corporate world really. I was like dip my toe in it and then I was like nope.
No, literally, like
I'm out.
That's why it was so funny that I didn't mention that I quit my job like in December, because it was such a big deal. And like this was my New Year's resolution, was to like slow down and take it all in. Like so many things happen to me that like I just be like and like keep going instead of being like that actually happened.
Like let yourself reflect
like
on
I'm in
that.
Bali, like that same time we were in that car, someone was like, I've been here 4 months, and then I was like, flip, I've been here like 6 months. And like so but basically I didn't even, like it was like such a big thing that I quit that job, because I was bound to be successful, bound to be,
it's guarantee stable income, guarantee promotions, because you're a very hardworking person. Oh my god, I just can't believe I just found that out live on the pod, that it was 6 years, because that is completely different to me then. Like I find it hard as well, because I don't know if you have the same situation, but like because I was like working towards that lifestyle with like the degrees that I chose, the way I approached them as well was very like all or nothing, like 100% gave it my everything. So people were like, okay, you're destined to be like a CEO of like big corp or something. And then when I tried it out for like 4 months and I changed my mind, I felt like I was letting so many people down, even though they didn't, they never wanted me to feel that way. But like, how did you, like, did your parents or anyone around you kind of think like, whoa, this is kind of a big pivotal career change for you? Or were they supportive?
I think I knew it was not what I wanted to do. Like I think the main reason I stayed in those firms so long was my friends. Like I loved working in the office, and like I was even talking to someone the other day and I was like, I miss it. Like working as an online coach is so lonely. Like it's me and my clients, don't get me wrong, but like it's me. Like when I'm doing all the work, it's just me. So like the main thing was just the friends I made in like the likes of Deloitte. But I think the whole time, like I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. It brought me no joy. And like I wasn't like severely unhappy. I was just like, I literally don't care. Like that's the way I was. Like I'd do my best all the time and like work hard and stuff, but I simply didn't care.
It's so funny that I just, because obviously I just recorded, like you can obviously tell I just recorded the last pod. Okay, I'm wearing the same clothes, changed the hair up to try convince y'all that I didn't. But like I literally was speaking about this, is like I was working towards this like goal that was based in extrinsic motivation. So it was based in people seeing me as a hardworking, driven person, fitting society's picture of success, which is something that we were chatting about recently, so I think we should chat about now. And it meant nothing to me when I fulfilled those goals then, because I just be like, okay, cool, on to the next one. Whereas I think the both of us chose this career because we always wanted to help people. And I, similar to you, I didn't know how to do that. Like I barely could help myself for most of my life, to be honest. So I'm glad it took me up until recently to like change career, because I wouldn't have been in any position to do it properly. But like now that I am doing something that's deeply meaningful to me, like even when I am like overwhelmed with like work or like have 101 things to do, like I don't feel like, I'm not mentally down about it. I'm just like, I'm physically tired. Mentally sometimes like a little bit drained, but emotionally like I'm on top of the world. Like it like fuels me. Like that's the difference.
Like if you're having a bad day and you get a text from a client or you look at a check-in and they're thriving, like it would literally just pull you from the darkness.
No, like literally I woke up to a text from a client, the one who was struggling with picky eating, and she just like tried pesto for the first time, which like to some people that might be like, what the hell? But I completely related to it because I was similar to her. If I thought it was
oily, cheesy.
If it was green, I'd be like, okay, that's vegetables. I don't want it. And she was like, I'm absolutely milling this. So that was the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning, and I was like, oh my God, I love my job. Like, such small wins to some people are such big wins in the grand scheme of things. So,
but like mine wasn't as dramatic exit as yours. Like I obviously
mic drop. That's what I did. It's like, bye bitch, I'm moving to Bali.
You're literally like, see ya.
I didn't tell anyone. Everyone was like back home like, what's Maeve doing? Like all my colleagues were like, are you coming back? And I just ghosted because I was like, I don't want to explain myself.
Yeah. Well, like
sorry, by the way, if you're listening and you're a colleague.
It was lockdown, and like I had a lot more time, so I was doing my PT qualification, and then like as soon as the gym's open, I was in the gyms, like training my friends, like just like loving my life. So I think because I had that alongside like my career still, it was like kind of like a phased out approach. So then I moved company and stuff.
People in.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to do it. Like I had no idea where this could go.
Yeah.
And I was just giving myself a chance. But then when I moved company and stuff, and then I moved to Marbella, it was sort of the goal that like I want to do this full time. So like it was like working online during the day, and then my coaching things in the evening and the weekend, and then eventually I was like, right, I'm ready, take a career break and see where this goes.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think it's like the scary part of making that career change. Like I'm not sure if this will relate to a lot of people. It depends on the age group, right? Like if you're only starting your career, just take time to deliberate on whether or not that's actually your goal and what you actually want with your life. Don't do an us on it and just kind of pursue things somewhat aimlessly.
But then again, like, just give it a go. Like, if I sat down when I was 18 and was like, what do I want to do? I would never have said online coach. Do you know what I mean? Like, even, like 2 years ago, like, I don't know. And, like, it was just, like, maybe I didn't have an inspirational person around me who was an online coach, or I never seen, like, success in it. And, like, that's another thing. Like, I seen success in, like, the different things. And I just, like, even if I had sat down and been, like, is the right for me, like, don't get me wrong, like, I thought I wanted business, I don't know. And like even at that, like we still are like those business heads, like in everyday life.
Yeah, we were saying this the other day.
Coaching, like it's all been put to good use, but like again, like if someone asked me when I was 18 what I want to do, I would have been like, don't know, help people.
Oh, that's 100% agree with that. Like up until like last year, I would still be stumped by that question, and I used to be always so honest about it when people ask me. I'd be like, I've no fucking idea. Whereas a lot of people, I think, try to convince themselves that they know, and that's what I mean. It's like, don't let like other people like influence. Obviously it's easier said than done because you're technically an adult, but let's be real, we're not really like our prefrontal cortex isn't like fully developed till you're 25. Okay, you're not really like, I wouldn't say an adult, so we're like now, like I'm only now starting to feel like an adult, to be honest, like independent, like, and all the above. We want financial stability, all those things. But like when I was younger, I just wish I think I did know deep down what I wanted. I always valued my health, okay? I was on a journey by then. By the age of 18, I would have been past my eating disorder, started the gym. I remember this is like the fitness influencer era had just begun. And I did that, not necessarily saying, oh my God, I can't speak. Not necessarily saying I wanted to be a fitness influencer.
I did.
See, I kind of probably subconsciously did or deep down did, but like I kind of felt like even being a PT, and this could be potentially a rogue thing to say, but it took me up until like recently, even though it's like part of my job, so like part of my coaching is PT, I actually used to look down on this. And I think that's really interesting. We're potentially fucked up to say because I am one now, but it was because of other people's perceptions of it, particularly like my like close network of people look down on that as a profession, because like you said, it's like not necessarily, guaranteed growth financially. Like you can kind of hit a plateau, especially if you work for someone else. It can be quite hard.
Which is all so wrong. Like it's just misconceptions or like... And that's it, like, just maybe, like, them people you were close with also didn't see, like, the inspiration that, like, we both needed to see when we were 18. Like, it was right in front of us, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's so easy to let their opinions become yours as well. I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's, like, not to, like, you don't necessarily have to know what you want to do. Like, I still didn't until last year, as I said. But it's, like, if I'd actually thought deeply and allowed myself to like kind of drown out external noise and think, what do I value? My health was always one, especially when I was overcoming that eating disorder, and like I shifted from that like skinny toxic mindset to like wanting to grow and be strong. And don't get me wrong, physique goals were in that, but it was more about like what my body could do for me and not like mistreating it anymore. Had I thought about it, that would have been a career I would have contemplated. But then I also, as I said, because other people kind of somewhat, whether they intended to or not, ridicule this as a profession, I then started to deem it as like, I'm not going to do that. I can do bigger and better things in my job with my life. And that was other people's opinions influencing mine. And I actually think our job is pretty cool. Like, we help people completely transform their lives for the better in the long term. Like, not to fucking blow our own smoke up our ass, but like, I think it's pretty cool. And that's why we get up every morning. Because like, it's like,
we are pretty cool.
We are pretty cool. So in like a similar vein, I guess, so when I was saying before, like I kind of used to think being a PT wasn't like, I guess, admirable or like a successful career because of other people's like opinions and influence on me. I think up until recently, I really struggled firstly to say that I was a PT. This is something that Kate and I were talking about. And she was like, yeah, but Maeve, like you are a PT. And I was like, yeah, like I know, but like I don't want to just say I'm just a PT. And it was like this weird, like that was once again
but
other
that's
people
coming from those opinions.
That's what I mean. Like I think it's,
whereas I love being like I'm a coach.
No, but that's the thing. I carried a lot of shame because of that massive career change I made, and it's so hard to like leave it in the past. But I have like now I'm like, yeah, I'm an online coach. I help people change their lives. But I think because of other people's opinions, I was really like, I had like imposter syndrome about it, or like shame attached to it, which is bizarre. And like I shouldn't probably be admitting to this, but that is the reality. And I want to be always transparent with you that I carried a lot of shame because of that career change and because that not being necessarily deemed as the picture of success for the like majority of the world, or at least traditional old Ireland. But yeah, like would you consider yourself, this is something we were chatting about the other day, would you call yourself a businesswoman? Because this is the interesting thing.
I know. And like, I think I speak, think, and like act like a businesswoman, like every day.
Yeah, we fucking do. But like, we were talking about this, we don't, up until recently, recognize ourselves as businesswomen. Yeah, we are like, the epitome of businesswoman. We started our own business.
Kate, like there was just the customer service and value is questionable at times.
Oh God.
But basically,
our standards are so low now.
one customer service experience was just like so poor that like she was just did something wrong, potentially quite rude towards me. And then Kate was like, I think you should go back and be like, as businesswoman to businesswoman. And I was like, me?
Yeah, wait, are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Little old me.
And then she was just like, Aisling, like the amount of like stuff you've spoke about in the past few weeks and stuff, like, I don't know, I don't know.
Because we study business, we were in business, we started our own business, but like I think it's like once again the definition of what a businesswoman we were taught in school. Like I've spoken about this before, the education system is like tailored to like make you an employee, not an like entrepreneur. So
yeah, like I felt more in business when I worked for a company.
Yeah, like it's bizarre, but yeah, we are freaking businesswomen, and I think that's just toxic imposter syndrome kind of playing into us. It's like we don't feel, probably because we're also only like, you know, there's so much potential for us in the future. Like we're only like, what, how many years have you been in this kind of?
Year and a half.
Yeah, like I'm only, what is it now? Just over like 7 months into this. So I think we have to kind of cut ourselves some slack. It probably will just take some time to like acclimatize to our new lives. I love it. But yeah, it was like when people ask me, like, you know, when you're filling out a form and it's like, what is your job? It's like,
oh my God, I actually couldn't imagine doing that now because I'm always like business consultant.
Occupation. It's like self-employed? What? And I never envisioned that for me because, as I said, I was always kind of, the path laid out for me was like one of like organizational, like working for someone else. And I just always viewed that as being like the legitimate profession as opposed to like working for yourself. But I always low-key admired people who went out on their own.
I always wanted to work for myself. Like that was my goal. I had no idea what I was going to do. I thought I was going to invent like the new light bulb or like something. and I always wanted to work for myself. So I think my like shock at like people calling me a businesswoman is kind of like, yeah, you're right, I've made it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it feels like disbelief.
Yeah, because I think I just like viewed them separately, like businesswoman, own a product or something, like come up with something.
Product versus service. Yeah, because once again, it kind of, we were taught around the principles of like product-based businesses as opposed to like
and like
service.
When I had those dreams when I was younger, that's just what I envisioned. I didn't envision like helping people and it being a service and it being a business.
Which is pretty kick-ass if you ask me. Okay, so something I also didn't find out about you up until like, was it like a month into our friendship? I kind of low-key knew, but I didn't want to ask because the timing had passed and it was too late to be like, what is this? But basically, talk me through like your experience with, I'm going to butcher this, ileostomy.
You did good.
Did I get it right? Ileostomy, and how you achieve what you have, which is incredible physique and strength, with that, like that almost like obstacle, I guess, that I wouldn't necessarily face when it comes to training nutrition. Obviously,
Okay,
as a PT to PT.
Background story, I have ulcerative colitis, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. No medication worked, so I got my large intestine removed. I still live with the active part of the disease in my rectum, so I think like it is one of the main obstacles, but because I went from such a place where like I couldn't do anything and I lived in living hell to like just having this problem that like it, and like it, you asked me about it yesterday, like it does affect my everyday life, but I kind of just like brush over it because like
That's why I didn't notice about it, because you don't ever mention it.
But essentially like I can do anything. Like as soon as I got this bag, like the troubles that I had experienced like went away. Like I was going to the toilet like up to 30 times a day, like an excruciating pain. So like that has taken away all of that.
It's amazing.
Nutrition wise, like my digestive system is like fine now. Like obviously my small intestine does a lot of the work. So if I ever eat like too much foods, like my appetite is sometimes like hit or miss, so it's just sort of like just having like a good diet and like good macros that I can stick to and not like eat too much too soon or like go loads of time without eating. But yeah, essentially like I can't really eat fruit and veg as much as like the normal person can, just because it can just get stuck and stuff. So like, but there's green powders, like there's so many things around it, and like the main other obstacle you'd have with having a bag is obviously my stomach was cut down the middle, so my abdominal muscles were like...
Do you have a scar?
Yeah.
I've actually never noticed it. Oh my god, yeah.
It's from there to there.
I'm either really unobservant or I've just...
It's a very good scar, yeah. Shout out to the surgeon.
Kind of gives you abs. You already have abs.
You're a dick.
You both have abs and it gives you abs because it's like a line in the stomach.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like
you know,
I don't
separation.
have bottom abs, but this kind of gives me it.
Yeah, it gives you at least the perception of it.
Yeah, but you're a dick. Rope ab crunches later.
Yeah, I need to do them. Honestly, we put off ab training. So.
But basically, you just have to like. It's a really big risk for getting a hernia and stuff. So, but like that's the only risk. Like just getting a hernia. So as soon as you've done like your recovery and like your core rehab, like you can pretty much do anything. Like the golden rule is like just don't lift anything that like your stomach muscles can't take. Right. But obviously like recovery was a very long process. Like I'm 5 years post-op, 5.5. But yeah, obviously like my goal is to help people who are in the same position that I was once in, because like there is no help. Like a girl popped up to me the other day and was like, how can you lift weights or something? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like,
that was my first question. I was like, how do you?
And she was like, my nurse told me I can only stick to Pilates or yoga, and I was just like, oh girl, no, that's just like not true. And like if that's coming from a nurse in a hospital, like it's just misinformation. But yeah, it is the disease that like not much research and stuff has been done about it. But
why?
I don't know. Like I played Gaelic football. Like it's essentially a contact sport. Like it's not supposed to be for women, but like it is. And like I was doing Muay Thai like in Bali, which was like kickboxing. Like I remember the first time I went with Kate, the warm up was to literally kick your
Oh,
partner
yeah.
had to like kick your stomach and you just like jumped back every time. And I was like, right, Kate, just like aim your foot over this side. And she was just like, why? And I was like, Kate, just do it. And this is like the
Did she
second
not tell
time.
her about the...
No, this is like the second time I've ever met Kate and spoke to her. And she was just like, what do you mean? I was like, Kate, just do it. Just aim over here. It's fine if you can't. And then she was just like, are you pregnant? And she was like,
Oh
no.
my God.
And then I told her
That
after.
would be your first thing. It
Yeah, and
wouldn't
she was
be.
just like, Aislings, what the fuck?
But then it doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not where you aim.
Yeah.
We should have a sit down with Kate and say all areas of the abdomen is important
Don't
for
get
the
a
baby.
pregnant woman. But no, yeah. So I can do anything. I played Gaelic football. I had a guard,
that attitude,
a guard
I can
over
do
my
anything.
yeah. I've been skiing. I've been hiking. Like I've been
It
traveling.
doesn't stop you, like.
No.
It shouldn't as well. Like, it's like once you have, I think something you mentioned to me even yesterday when we were just chit-chatting, you were saying like once you had that operation, your perspective just seemed like, I didn't know you then, okay? But it's like your perspective probably just kind of took a massive
100%.
180 and like you were just
Yeah.
so grateful for having no pain. And did that in any way like get you fire up your ass basically to be like, I want to take my health seriously?
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like.
because obviously it wasn't your fault that you
Yeah,
got
like,
it, but it's still like you're like,
like
I'm
I
so
was
grateful.
so lucky, yeah. But it wasn't even that. It was more just like I don't think it came from the illness at all. It was just like I have a potential. Like anyone could get sick at any point of their lives. Like anyone could get injured. Like I was fit and healthy to a degree after surgery. Like why am I not allowing myself to like be the best version of myself, whether that is physique goals at the time or like strength goals or performance goals on the pitch, like. And that's like what I always like say, like so many people out there like have such a good potential to like reach, and like if you're just not doing anything, then who knows what it could be.
I know. And it's like this kind of brings you back to like, I remember when I was younger, and obviously like this was back in the day, maybe when skinny was like the trend of what like beauty looked like. And because that was the case, I was active, like I was always sporty. Like this is why I say we're really similar. Like I played tennis pretty much every day, golf, cricket, you name it, all the sports under the sun, loved everything. I just loved, we're really competitive, both of us, right? So naturally we were drawn to sports. But for me it was like, I do that, but it wasn't with the intention of like losing weight or staying healthy. I would eat literal shit every day. Like we're talking when I was like age 11 to like 17, 18, I just would eat like processed foods, like pizza, pasta. Not saying that's like bad, you can have that in moderation, but when you're not feeding your body with like anything of nutritional value, like it's obviously not good.
I think that was like the turning point for me.
What?
Like feeling like shit because of food. Like that was it. Like it was like during lockdown and I was trying to do these workouts and like had a certain time because I was obviously working from home as well. So like just say lunchtime, and if I had eaten like a shit breakfast, I was like, I can't go in there because I feel like shit. And then it was just like, God, I need to eat healthy so that then I can perform in the gym, and then it all just kind of like came from there.
And yeah, it's like that kind of goes back to like the intrinsic motivation. It's like, because if I do this, I will feel better, not necessarily like, it's not always about looking better, say, like, which is more of an extrinsic motivational source.
And like a
appearance.
long-term goal as well. Like if you're always focused on looking better, like you're not going to
gonna
get any of
dissipate.
those like wee wins that you get
No.
along the way. Like
Yeah, because like obviously physical changes, depending on the type, right? Like obviously fat loss and like muscle gain, especially depending on like your baseline, like what you're at now, the rate of change for that will vary from person to person. But especially like if you're like me, say, when I was like smaller and I was trying to put on muscle, it was going to take me time to get there. And because my goals at the time were physique related, like I just constantly would start and stop and give up. But because my goals now are more like performance related, health related, the discipline and that intrinsic motivation is what gets me to the gym every day. Like I'm going to have to find time today to train, even though I'm like jam packed. Like it's a non-negotiable. But like even going back to when I was saying, sorry, about when I was like skinny, right? I didn't care about what I was putting into my body because I had a fast metabolism. I was just like, it's very, at the time when I was younger, it's not necessarily as fast now. And that's okay. But when I was younger, like nothing I put into me would make me gain weight. And people used to be like envious of me. They'd be like, you can eat so much pasta and pizza and look at you. But like that was when I was like my unhealthiest. Like, and this is something I really want to drive home because I was even looking at photos of me.
someone said that to me too. Like, oh, I wish I was sick. Like half joking, but I'm just like, imagine saying that because I would lose weight so quickly, or like, yeah, be like very thin at the time.
It's
like,
and it's so like
yeah,
that's
and
and
like,
that
it's the
shows the
same
toxic
thing,
culture that
yeah.
we used to have, and I think some people still hold with them, and it's not their fault, but it's like when you make comments, like a lot of comments I would have made on my body when I was younger, up until like recently, it was like, I'm so jealous of your body, like you look like you're my goals and stuff like that. And like meanwhile I'd be like having a mental breakdown every second day. I was probably depressed when people were saying that. It was like when I was like this time last year when I was my smallest, like I was even showing Aisling photos of me yesterday when I was doing like a comparison, and it's really easy to look back and be like, oh, like my physique was better there, and then you'd like swipe to the next photo and there'd be a picture of me like bawling, crying. So like just because like you look good on the outside, like on the inside I wasn't. Like my gut health was shit, my mental health was shit.
And like like what I always thought with bulking as well, like you have to remember your actual goals. So like, what did you say to me yesterday? You were like, look how good what did you say? Like,
it was,
you look how strong I look.
I was like,
or
my quads, so like
yeah.
my quads were like popping, but it's because I was leaner.
Yeah.
I had like less body fat, and yeah, I was like how do my quads look bigger there than now when I'm like lifting heavier?
Yeah.
And you said that.
Yeah, I was just like, you said something about like stronger or something, and I was like, you think you're stronger then? Were you lifting a heavier weight then? And you were like, no. And
I had
was
plateaued
like,
significantly.
Were you just leaner and you could see them better then? And you were just like, yeah.
Yes. And this is the thing, like I've never been on a bulk, so I think I've just been kind of struggling. Like even though like I talk about it on the page, like I say like, you know, body neutrality is what I always fall back on, and my values and my intrinsic motivation of being like healthy and performing well, being strong. But it is okay to sometimes have those wavering moments where it's like, God, this is kind of hard. Like, because it is completely new to me. Like I've never carried this high body fat percentage, and I'm not saying I'm like fat, I'm just saying it's new to me.
Yeah, and what made it so hard for me was because when I was younger, and like probably similar to you, like I was always lean. So as soon as I was bulking, as much as people would be like, oh my God, you're tiny, you're so thin, whatever it is, I could feel it. I could see it.
It's my abdomen,
like,
I feel it.
But because I started from such a lean place, like, don't get me wrong, it was bad lean, but like it just made it so much more obvious, and I felt like it was just completely different from, but like that's the thing, like just keep reminding yourself of your end goal. Like it's not conducive to your goal to be any lean right now. So
well, my goal was muscle gain and strength, like even back then when I was super lean, but like not eating enough because I was stressed and all that we've spoken about before. My gut health was in fucking bits. Yeah, but because I wasn't like eating enough to like fuel that goal, say, or like going to the gym consistently enough because I'd lost sight of my intrinsic goal of like performance, like I wasn't going to I'd plateaued. Like my strength, I was literally already yelling the same weight for at least 12 weeks, and the reps weren't changing. Nothing was going up, okay? And I was like, why am I not seeing change? Like, but I knew, like at this point in time, I had the understanding that I have now, but I just was like kidding myself. Like I just wasn't ready then to like make the change I needed, which was to eat more, to gain more. And yeah, like it's something I can relate now to my clients who are going through bulks too. It's like, it can be hard transition to, especially when you have never seen your body in that state. Like, because as we've said, we were always lean. Like I was never in a position that I struggled to put on weight for most of my life. So this is actually, that's something I have to remind myself, is that like, this is such a blessing that I've gotten to a point that my nervous system's regulated enough, my hormones are like at a level, like, or at least somewhat regulated now, that I can actually put on the weight that was needed. Like I wasn't healthy. I didn't have a real period until I was 24.
And like, see, when you're in that state of like you were lean as hell and like your weights weren't going up, like you weren't getting any better in the gym, like there is no way up. Like you can't go anywhere, like you can't get stronger because of your food. Like you're only gonna like probably just go down because you're probably like restricting your food, feeling worse mentally,
I didn't even realise I was restricting.
Like there's nowhere to go, whereas if you just like in corporate like phases like bulking, and like you'll always be able to cut again, and like
like I'm so excited for, not necessarily for the cut, I'm just so exciid to see, because obviously when you are bulking, I'm so excited to see, because I know I've gone up in all of my lifts. The big reveal, who knows when, like I'm only really like 2 months really of bulking consistently, because I obviously am in Bali, and I've said before it's hard to hit the calories here. But as I said in the last pod, if it matters enough to you and if you're consistent enough with it, it's doable. Like I don't like when people say like, oh, like I can't hit my protein here. It's like, yes, you fucking can. If it matters to you, do it. Like, I hit at least like 90% of my protein goal every day. Like, I will find a way to make it work, even if it's like 9 p.m. at night.
And that's in Bali.
And that's in Bali,
when we don't
lads.
have Greek yogurts.
I'm vegetarian. Yeah, we don't have Lidl and Aldi where you get like protein puddings.
Protein milk.
Oh, I miss
Avonmore
like
protein milk.
No, stop. I was looking back at my old clips, like, because I used to make recipe videos when I had
like even as simple
kitchen.
as like you could run into the Spar or the shop, whatever shops you have, and like lift like 20 grams of protein, like whether it's a milkshake or a bar or like a yogurt
on the go protein
and here
source.
like what would we find in Indomart? Like,
oh no, like I wouldn't trust it. And I think they have like banana, no, what was it, they mixed cheese and ice cream,
cheese and chocolate.
Cheese and chocolate. I saw that on was Becca's story, and I was like, no, surely not. Like, that's the type of food we have to, no offense to the culture, right, but like we want on the go protein sources, and that's just not a thing. So if anyone's coming to Bali, we would like to put in an order, because I actually am lacking a lot of things right now, so I'm genuinely saying this. If you are coming to Bali, hit me up, because I need my hair care, my skin care, my makeup.
Like, I need new pants. Where do I go?
I don't have socks, underwear, gym gear really lacks here. I just don't trust. They're never like squat proof, and like we go to a gym that you need squat proof shorts. Let's just say that, shall we? Okay, so unfortunately we're out of time, but I really enjoyed that. It was basically just like having chats with my bestie on a pod. So I hope you enjoyed that too. But if you have any questions, obviously just send Aisling a DM in terms of like the ileostomy experience. Your Instagram handle is Aisling Carson, isn't it?
Yeah. Simple as that.
Simples. Whereas mine is Mauve Coaching. People call me Mauve because of it, and I get it. My name is Maeve. My name is Jeff. Okay, my name is Maeve, and we are done chatting good shit. Until the next episode, thanks so much for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye.